Hello, boys and girls. Lyndon and I are here in our basement here at home. And I went to school today and I decided I really wanted to find a book that I could read to you all. And I was looking around the room and thinking, what should I get? And I even prayed, God, what would be the best book to read? And I found it. When I saw it, I knew. Of course, we all remember the Herdmans from the Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Well, there's a sequel, and it's called The Best School Year Ever. The Herdmans are back at it. If you see our cats wandering around here, that's okay. Just let them wander. But the one that is black and brown and orangey, that's Ninja. And the one that's just black and white is JC. Linda wants to show you real quick. Here she comes. Here comes Ninja. She's very sweet. She looks kind of fierce, but she isn't that fierce. Oh, we lost JC. Ninja. We'll get JC. JC is a rascal. He is just a little over a year old. He likes to jump on his sister's back and wrestle. Here's JC. Hello. And Ninja has crawled under the table to try to get away from Lyndon because she's a little camera shy, but she'll show up eventually. So it says on the back here, it says the worst kids in the history of the world. The Herdmans are the outlaws of Woodrow Wilson Elementary School. They smoke cigars, lie, and set fire to things, and that's only when they bother to come to school. If anything goes wrong, you can be sure there's a Herdman behind it. Then a school project forces the students to think of compliments for their classmates. All of them. Is it possible that behind their outrageous pranks, there might be something good about this crazy clan after all? The Herdmans, back again. When we studied the Old West, everybody had to do a special report on a cowboy's life or famous Indian chiefs or notorious all families like the James brothers. Boomer Malone picked the James brothers, but when he couldn't find them in the children's encyclopedia, "That's all right, Boomer," Miss Kemp said. "It doesn't have to be the James brothers. Pick another outlaw family." So Boomer did. He picked the Herdmans. Of course, the Herdmans weren't the Old West, and they weren't in the children's encyclopedia either. They were right there in Woodrow Wilson School, all 6 of them spread out, one to a class, because the only teacher who could put up with 2 of them at once would have been Miss King Kong. Oh, there's JC. My father said he bet that was in the teacher's contracts along with sick leave and medical benefits, only one Herdman at a time. Boomer's paper was the best one. 3 whole pages of one crime after another. He should have gotten an A+, but Mrs. Kemp made him do the whole paper over. "I'm ashamed of you, Boomer," she said, "calling your own schoolmates an outlaw family." The Herdmans didn't care. They knew they were outlaws. So did Miss Kemp, but I guess you had to pretend they were like everybody else. They weren't, and if they had been around in the Old West, they would have burned it all down or blown it all up, and we wouldn't have to study about it. Plus, of course, we wouldn't have to live with the Herdmans every day, in school and out. Chapter 1. Unless you're somebody like Huckleberry Finn, the first day of school isn't too bad. Most kids by then are bored with summer and itchy from mosquito bites and poison ivy and nothing to do. Your sneakers are all worn out and you can't get new ones till school starts, and your mother is sick and tired of yelling at you to pick things up, and you're sick and tired of picking up the same things. Plus, the first day of school is only a half day for kids. My little brother Charlie once asked my mother what teachers do for the rest of the day. "Oh, they get things ready, books and papers and lessons." "Well, that's not what Leroy Herdman says," Charlie told her. "Leroy says as soon as the kids are gone, they lock all the doors and order in pizza and beer." "Well, they don't," Mother said. "And how would Leroy know anyway?" "He forgot something," Charlie said, "and he went back to get it and he couldn't get in." "They saw him coming down the hall and lock the doors, wouldn't you?" "Well, yes, anyone would, because the Herdmans, Ralph, Imogene, Leroy, Claude, Ollie, and Gladys, were the worst kids in the history of the world. They weren't honest or cheerful or industrious or cooperative or clean. They told lies and smoked cigars and set fire to things and hit little kids and cursed and stayed away from school whenever they wanted to and wouldn't learn anything when they were there. They were always there, though, on the first day, so you knew right away that this was going to be another exciting Herdman year in the Woodrow Wilson Elementary School. At least there was only one of them in each grade, and since they never got kept back, you always had the same one to put up with. I had Imogene, and what I did was stay out of her way, but it wasn't easy. This time, she grabbed me in the hall and shoved an oatmeal box in my face. "Hey," she said, "you want to buy a science project?" I figured that Imogene's idea of a science project would probably explode or catch fire or smell really bad or be alive and bite me. And in fact, I could hear something squealing and scratching around in the oatmeal box. "Miss Kemp already wrote this year's assignment on the board," I said, "and it isn't a science project." "Fine time to tell me," she grunted. "What is it?" "The assignment." "The assignment." She shook her oatmeal box. "Is it mice?" So I was half right. Imogene's science project was alive, but it probably wouldn't bite me unless it was a great big mouse, and I didn't want to find out. "No," I said, "it's about people." "Huh, mice would be better," Imogene said. Later that morning, Miss Kemp explained her assignment, and I thought Imogene might be right because the assignment sounded weird. "For this year's project," she said, "we're going to study each other. That's the assignment on the blackboard. Compliments for classmates." All over the room, hands were going up and kids were saying, "Huh? And what does that mean? And how many pages?" But Miss Kemp ignored all of this. "It means exactly what it says," she said. "You're to think of some special compliment for each person in the class. And please don't groan." A lot of people did anyway. "Because this assignment is for the year. You have all year to think about it. And next June, before the last day of school, you'll draw names from a hat and think of more compliments for just that one person." Somebody asked if it could be a famous person instead, or somebody else asked if it could be a dead famous person like George Washington. Miss Kemp said no. "This is a classroom project, so it has to be the people in the class. We know all about George Washington's good points, but," she looked around and pointed at Boomer, "we don't all know Boomer's good points. More important, Boomer probably doesn't know all his good points." "How many compliments?" Junior Jacobs wanted to know. "It's up to you," Mrs. Kemp said. Alice Wendleton raised her hand. "Would beautiful hair and shiny hair count as one compliment?" This sounded to me as if Alice planned to compliment herself, which would save someone else the trouble, but Miss Kemp said, "I'm not talking about beautiful hair and nice teeth, Alice. I mean characteristics, personal qualities, something special." This could be hard, I thought. Take Albert Pelfrey. When you think of Albert Pelfrey, you think fat. Even Albert Pelfrey thinks fat. It's hard to think of anything else, so I would really have to study Albert to find some very special personal quality that wasn't just about being fat. And besides Albert, there were 28 other people, including Imogene Herdman. "What's a compliment?" Imogene wanted to know. "It's something nice you tell someone, like if someone is especially helpful or especially friendly," I said. Imogene looked me up and down. "Or especially clean." "Okay," Imogene frowned, "but mice would still be better." Mice probably would have been easier for Imogene because the Herdmans always had animals around. As far as I know, they weren't mean to animals, but the animals they weren't mean to were mean all by themselves, like their cat, which was crazy and had to be kept on a chain because it bit people. Now and then you would see Mrs. Herdman walking the cat around the block on its chain, but she works 2 shifts at the shoe factory and didn't have much time left over to hang around the house and walk the cat. There wasn't any Mr. Herdman. Everybody agreed that after Gladys was born, he just climbed on a freight train and left town. But some people said he did it right away, and some people said he waited a year or two. Gladys probably bit him, said my friend Alice Wendelkin. Not if she was a baby. Babies don't have teeth, I said. Well, she probably had hard gums, said Alice. Alice knew what she was talking about because Gladys bit her all the time. Mrs. Wendelkin always poured iodine all over Alice's bites, and so Alice had to go around for days with big brown splotches on her arms and legs. Alice was always afraid she would die anyway of Gladys bites and have to be buried looking all splotched up and ugly instead of beautiful in her blue and white dress with ruffles. It wasn't all that special to get bitten by Gladys. She bit everybody, including my little brother, Charlie. Charlie came home yelling and screaming that Gladys bit him. And Gladys came too, which shows just how fearless they were. Any other kid who bit a kid and broke the skin and drew blood would go hide somewhere, but not Gladys. Gladys Herdman! It's always your whole name when your mother is mad. Do you know what I think about a little girl who bites people? I think she ought to have to wear a sign around her neck that says, "Beware of Gladys." I guess Mother thought this would really put Gladys in her place, but Gladys just said, "Okay," and went home and made a sign and wore it for a week. Nobody paid much attention. We didn't need a sign to make us beware of Gladys. And we will stop there. And we have a little friend that's listening. I'll show her to you. This is Ninja. And even though she kind of looks a little skittish right now, she's actually super duper sweet. And she loves to lick. And she's very patient. And Lyndon got her for her 3rd birthday. And Lyndon's 8, so she's now 5 years old. So I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll post another piece of the best school year ever, and we will see what happens with Gladys. I'll be there too. She'll be there too. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.